It's Wednesday, August 28th, 2024. This is Rolling Thunder Podcast. I'm Chris.
I'm Ryan.
All right, Ryan, how you doing?
I'm just glad I didn't have to do that intro. That's too much work. That's how I'm doing.
Last week, I had to overdub last week's because I said August 28th last week's. And as I was listening back, I was like, wait, no, this next week is August 28th. So you can actually hear like a bunch of static over me saying 21st.
Nice.
Yep.
Oh, that's
it's because I had to cut it in that way.
That's a deep cut right there. That's a deep cut.
Did you find us doing it online? That I definitely prefer when we're in person like this.
Yes, I do too.
I mean, having to set it up and edit it is way more of a pain in the ass than when we did it online. But
that's true. I think the natural flow of the podcast goes better when we're in each other's presence than when we're doing it online. Plus,
it sounds like you're reading marital vows right there.
Maybe I am, bro. I'm lonely, all right?
There's nothing wrong with that.
I'm lonely, all right? You're adorable. I can fit you in my pocket, you know?
Fuck you. It's so good when we're in each other's presence all the time.
You're taking it too far, man.
I love you too, buddy.
Where's my rape whistle when I need it? Oh, it doesn't work. They never taught me how to whistle.
Listen, I haven't gotten our channel monetized yet, but this episode definitely isn't now because you used that word. So
oh, I'm sorry.
Thanks.
My bad.
I'm not worried about us monetizing our YouTube thing, and we'll slowly build this podcast as we do it.
Yeah. Either that or we'll turn it into OnlyFans and we'll just take photos of my feet. Wheelchair feet fetish. Woo.
Oh my God. Let's not do that.
Come on.
Do you want to make negative money or what do you want to do?
I think it'll make more money than this podcast will make.
Oh, okay. No, that's fair.
It'll make tens of dollars, man. Tens of dollars.
Okay. I've been up way too long already today.
Please tell me why you've been up so long, Chris.
I woke up to first of all watch the Formula One race. We're recording this on Sunday.
Yes,
and then so I watched the Formula One race, and then I basically just hopped in the shower and hopped on a bus to come out here. And then we watched AEW All In.
Which was awesome.
It was awesome.
What was your favorite match?
Oh, I think the de facto for me is probably MJF, Will Ospreay.
You know how I feel about Will Ospreay.
You know how I feel about MJF.
They're basically, if human beings could be our spirit animal, mine would be Will Ospreay.
Yeah.
And yours would be MJF. Because you're a dick and I'm a really nice guy. So,
fair enough.
Only people that are wrestling fans will get what we're talking about right now. But
I thought the main event was great. I thought there wasn't anything that was bad.
No.
At least on the main pay-per-view. I haven't watched anything from the pre-show yet.
Neither have I.
Because it's like when I got to your place, we started it about an hour and a half late.
Yeah.
Because I got here, I had it set up, and then it takes you so long to type that it literally we killed like 40 minutes.
I can't even get mad at that, man.
No, I'm not trying to say it as an insult either. I'm just saying it takes you so long to type it.
It's a reality in my life.
Yeah.
What takes people 20 minutes takes me 2.5 days, you know?
You type like old people type.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
I'm still trying to figure out what the control button does on the keyboard most of the time, so.
A lot of times it's like, it's weird because some keyboards will have like an FN, which is a function button, and that's sort of how control works as well. So like, for example.
I'm sorry, I fell asleep there when we were talking about it. I'm just kidding, buddy.
God damn it.
Keep going. Keep going.
All right, let me hit Control X and undo. God damn. I was going to make a great joke.
Okay, go
you
ahead.
Stepped all over it.
First thing I can step on in my life. Tell you drunk.
No, it's too late now. God damn it. Yeah, I love the MJF and Will Ospreay match.
Yeah,
I thought that was the best match on the card. And I thought the main event was also great. And goddamn, was that crowd into that match.
Yeah, they were. And,
I mean, Bryan Danielson is something else.
Yeah.
And the way that he connects with an audience, like, as... Interesting thing, like, there's a very large amount of, like, comedians who are pro wrestling fans.
It's true.
And...
I could name 5 off the top of my head.
A lot of us understand, like, the correlation between it, and a lot of us also understand, like it's like watching like the performance aspect of it, where they're in this large space, and like the number of people that I talk to that are like, oh, they're always overacting, and it's like, well, no, because it's a live thing, so they have to play to the person up in the nosebleeds, which is why it's so overacted.
Because everybody wants to feel like they're part of the show. Just
really good. Like, even from like the opening match along, I will say that gauntlet match, I was kind of shocked with who the winner was, but also and with how it played out, because they keep teasing that turn with Killshot Luchasaurus. That it was done so well, where he came out as Luchasaurus and then still helped out Christian Cage to get the victory. And I thought, like, the commentary team was great as well.
Yeah, they were. Even when JR came in, I was like, oh no, here, JR's just going to be talking about barbecue. And barbecue. But no, he didn't. He did well.
No, I honestly, after a few minutes, I didn't even notice him. And I mean that in, like, the greatest
it's
way, where it was like, all right, this commentary team's gelling. So
it's like a long set. There are parts in a long set when you're on stage that sometimes especially now that I've had to judge a few comedy competitions, I look at stand-up a lot differently than, oh, they're funny. You know, there's more to it than that. It's like, is it well crafted? Do they have good stage presence? Do I want to watch them again? Could I watch them do the same set again, and would I still enjoy it? And things like that.
See, I'm partially of the opposite mind, though, especially when it comes to like comedy competitions. I'm in any given Sunday, the person who has the best set is a person who should win.
No, I agree with that. I mean, I'm not saying that's
and as two guys who've been regularly screwed hard in comedy competitions, and I've seen it happen with you.
There's a reason why they call me the bridesmaid. You know, I always come in second. I can never get that first place. I feel like silver medals are great, but give me the taste of the gold, you know.
I feel like, very much like me, you would end up disappointed. When you win, like, I feel like you've built this thought of what it's going to feel like, and it'll be like, I've won one comedy competition. I mean, technically, I won like one of Johnny Scoop's Stage Fright or whatever it was called.
I won a couple of those too,
but like, those are nonsense. Like, one night, like, as far as like this takes place over weeks.
And when there's multiple rounds.
And
you're facing, and the competition gets harder and harder to compete against.
Like, the one that I won, the Rise of the Next Comic, I think
yeah.
it was called, and
when it used to be that that TV show on Shaw Cable,
Shaw,
right?
yeah.
Scotty Aceman.
Scotty Aceman and this is gonna kill me that I can't remember his name.
What happened to Scotty anyway? I haven't seen him in a long time.
I don't know. I've got a great story for you, actually. Okay. Scotty booked me for a corporate gig.
Oh, I love corporate gig stories. They're fun.
So it was for the Jewish Hockey League.
What the?
So they did like a big get together with like they were giving out awards and that, right?
Okay.
And there was a comic who, when I started out, was someone who had been doing comedy on the Vancouver scene for like quite some time.
Yep.
And his name is Barry Greenfeld. And Barry,
I love Barry, man.
Like stream of consciousness. He'd walk around the room with like a guitar.
Yeah.
And he's an absolute wild man.
Yeah, because you never know what he's going to do.
You never know what he's going to do. You never know what he's going to say. I've seen him crush so hard. I've seen him bomb off his ass because you don't know what you're
take his pants off on stage.
I've heard numerous stories about that. I heard about like when Yux was in the Plaza of Nations, how like a couple nights he would just hang out in the elevator naked with his guitar covering him, playing for all the people who are going down to the club.
That's amazing.
Which is so... I don't know if that's true or not.
I want it to be true, so we'll say it is.
I want it to be true as well.
It's like a unicorn thing. You're just like, I believe in unicorns. Have you seen one? No, but I still believe in them.
But if you know him, you'd go like, that kind of sounds on brand.
Yeah,
for him, right?
For sure.
And at the time, like, he moved to Calgary, right? Okay. And I get brought in for this thing, and they're like, we're going to give away some awards, we're this, and then you just do your act. Like, we booked you for you.
Yeah.
Like, this is an adult thing. Yeah. Just do you. And I was like, okay, that sounds great. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting with Scotty's son, which, by the way, I thought Ace Man, like his last name, I thought it was like a stage name.
Okay.
His son added me on Facebook, and I was like, wait, is that actually your last name? I thought that was like Scotty Ace Man. You know what I mean? Like, I was like,
show business.
I was like, that's a showbiz name if I've ever heard one. Like, I'm the Ace Man, you know? His son added me, and I'm like, that's your actual last name. So I'm sitting there, I'm telling the son this.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't realize that was your actual last name. I thought like, and he's like, yeah, that's, and then I look, and I'm looking across the room. I'm like, huh. And Scotty's son looks over at me. He goes, what? And I go, there's a guy there who looks like this guy who used to do comedy. His name's Barry Greenfeld.
That's funny.
That's crazy. Like, he wouldn't be here. Like,
that's like a human being, where's Waldo moment.
Yeah, and then Scott's son turned to me and he goes, well, go up and ask him. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to do that. I have had bad experiences with that. One time, not proud of this looking back. When I was in high school, I was walking behind this girl. I thought it was a girl I knew. As a goof, I did like the poke the ribs. And she jumped and turned. Not the girl I thought it was. Oh. And I just was like, hump, and like walked away. And I apologize publicly to that woman now. But so I'm not. What if it's not him? I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah.
Barry, right? No, not Barry. All right, my bad, man. You look like this friend I know. I don't want to have that conversation. You know?
I have a very good mistaken identity.
All right.
Story that I can share with you after.
So I'm sitting in the back, and then Scotty's business partner is hosting the award part.
Okay.
And he goes, the very first award is to the player most likely to have a heart attack on the ice. And he opens it up. He goes, Barry Greenfeld.
Nice.
And Barry stands up. And then Scotty's son turns. He goes, that guy's also named Barry. And I go, because it is the same guy.
That's funny.
It's the same fucking guy.
That's funny. That's so funny.
Yeah. So then, of course, after, like, he was, like, my main cheerleader that show, too.
Because he understands comedy, and we all know corporate gigs are painful.
Yeah.
My caregivers always are like, you can do this, Ryan. You can get through this corporate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know. And then there's been a few times where, because I'm disabled, I'm able to cut the cord on my set faster, and I'll be like, oh, my disability is acting up or something, just to get off stage.
Oh, I wish I had that.
I know. You do. You're short. That should be it.
Hey, I can't reach the rest of this set. Thank you very much.
Somebody put it on the middle shelf. I can't reach it.
Oh, God. To
be fair to you, Chris, I can't reach anything on the top shelf either, man. So we're in the same boat.
I had a corporate go so bad one time. I was supposed to do an hour, and 45 minutes in, the guy hosting the event was like, all right, thank you very much. And I was like, I still have like 15. He's like, nah, that's okay. We're running behind anyways.
Well, I was hired to do my, this is like 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Now, because I'm getting close to my 30-year high school reunion, which is, fuck, I feel old right now saying that. It was my 10-year anniversary or 10-year reunion or whatever.
My 20-year would have been this.
Oh, really?
Year. I'm not going to that.
No, for my 20, I was on the road, thank God.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to go. But my 10-year, they hired me to do a set. And I was still like, it was like maybe my second or third year of like, kind of being professional, like I would say semi-professional. Yeah. I wouldn't say like I am now, definitely not. But back then I was just getting my feet wet sort of thing. And I was 5 minutes into what was supposed to be a half an hour set. And I said something and they cut the mic off, and I thought it was just a venue problem.
Oh, no.
But turns out the owners of the establishment were so offended with what I said that they like shut down the show.
Wow.
And that was it.
Yeah.
But my friends were so drunk, they're like, keep talking. And I'm like, it doesn't work like that. But I did. I just spoken word the rest of the set. It was so painful. So painful.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That, I hate corporate gigs so much.
Yeah,
and
me
if they
too,
didn't,
man.
If they didn't pay well, I would not do them.
I get asked by a lot of disability organizations to do corporates, which is awesome, because I am a person with a disability. I like to help out as many organizations that help people like me out, but I fucking hate them so much because I've spent 25 years crafting my act around explaining disability to able-bodied people. So when I'm in a room full of people that are like me, they're like, yeah, dude, we get it. Where's the funny part? And I'm like, oh, yeah. But I've just learned to embrace that now, and I just own it. And now I just make fun of able-bodied people in a room full of disabled people. So it's like, I don't know, like we're having a union meeting or a meeting of socialist minds. It's kind of awesome afterwards. And we're like, take down the walkies, you know? Like, So, yeah. But I wanted to tell you the story of Mistaken Identity.
Yes.
So, do you know Paul Anthony by chance, Chris?
I know Paul Anthony.
Yes. Well,
Paul Anthony used to host a public access TV variety show.
Talent Time.
That's right, Talent Time.
Yes.
I think I did it once.
I did it once as well.
Yeah, it was a fun time. I wish I could have done it again, too.
Yeah, and that show had a really interesting concept because he would find performers on Craigslist that had really obscure acts.
Yeah.
And he'd put them all on the same show. So it was like a version of the Gong Show meets No Gong. Like he wouldn't gong him, he just let him do the whole thing. Which was beautiful and a lot of fun, and you never know what you got when you got there.
I couldn't even tell you what happened with my Talent Time.
No.
Like it was a blur.
Well, I remember the show I was on. There was a gentleman there that played percussion on his belly to the song Africa by Toto. And that was part of the show that I was on.
Oh my God. Not only do I hate that song, I feel like I would hate that act. You know what I mean?
It was wonderful. It was the greatest. It was like, I don't know if you've seen, it was like the comic book store owner from The Simpsons. If that guy was a real person and he decided to do a variety act, that's who this guy was. And it was just one of the greatest moments of my life because I'm like, my career is amazing right now. Mm-hmm. No one's ever going to see this show because I'm pretty sure they showed it at 2 o'clock in the morning during the week. So I was like, but I'm so glad I'm here. Anyway, Paul Anthony, for the longest time, used to have a character that he would do when he would do stand-up called Hugh Fikowski. He dressed up like a punk guy, and he would just do like basically one-liners, and then he'd have water guns, and he'd squirt the audience, and it was just this really obscure act.
I've seen him do it like twice.
Yeah.
But by the time I was around, he mostly stopped doing stand-up.
Yeah.
But I've seen him do it like twice.
So we used to do a show on Commercial Drive, and it was every Wednesday, and it was hosted by, it started with Dylan Reimer, and then it moved to Graham Clark. It was the Talent Time show. Or not Talent Time, sorry, what the hell is it called? I feel so bad that I can't remember.
Was this the Havana one?
Yeah, what's that show called?
That Graham runs?
Yeah, it's now at the Havana, but it used to be somewhere else.
Oh, God damn it.
I know, I feel so shitty right now for...
Because he runs it at Little Mountain Gallery now, I think.
Does he?
I think so. But I'm pretty sure it's upstairs.
Oh, so I can never do it.
You can't do that.
High five me.
I think he runs it there. God, I'm trying to remember what it's called. Where he gives out like prizes and that
cheese
too, right? And
prizes.
Yeah.
He finds stuff at the flea market that's really obscure. Like he'll give away a box set of Babysitter Club's novels from the 90s. And
I never knew that was like Dylan's show originally.
Yeah,
okay.
And the way I came on the show the first time was the first show I ever did was at the Plaza of Nation Yug Yucks, which I'm pretty sure I did see Barry in the elevator naked singing to me because I had to use the elevator to get up to the show, which was amazing. Anyway, I didn't use my name when I first started because I didn't know if I was going to continue this or what. So the first show I did growing up, a lot of my friends would call me Gimpy, and then Dylan asked me, he's like, when do you want me to call you, kid? And I was like, nah, call me Gimpy. He's like, no, like, we'll put some respect on it and call you Sir Gimpy. And that's where this came from.
Yeah.
So for the first, like, year of me doing stand-up, I was known as Sir Gimpy. I was even on the local news in Vancouver. They did, like, a news piece about me. And watching the desk, like, the evening desk, people have to say, if you like comedy, you give Sir Gimpy a try. Like, it was the greatest moment. Anyway, so Paul Anthony, aka Hugh Fikowski, he only knew me as Sir Gimpy, and he was riding a public bus on Commercial Drive, and he saw a guy in a wheelchair, had a beard, baseball cap, full of tattoos, and he thought it was me. So he starts yelling out the window, "Hey, Gimpy, Gimpy, it's me, Paul. Gimpy, it's me, Paul." And the bus driver and a whole bunch of people on the bus got super offended that he's yelling "Gimpy" at this person on the side of the bus, that they kicked him off the bus, and then the bus driver like got on his CB and told everybody else on the route not to pick him up. It's one of the greatest moments like of my career that didn't pay me anything, but I love that story. And I've known him, Paul Anthony, for like so many years, and every time I see him, he still brings it up. Like, you got me kicked off the city bus, man, and I'm like, technically, you got yourself kicked off. I had nothing to do with it. You just automatically assumed that everybody in a wheelchair was me, and that's all you did. So, anyway.
That's so funny.
That's my story about mistaken identity.
Man, I get like the weird things. So like, it was funnily enough, we were both recognized earlier today.
Yes.
When we were out, and then had to have a conversation that you bailed out of.
Yes.
And all due respect, the lady that we ran into is really a sweet lady, but
yes,
we had stuff to do. So,
AKA, we didn't want to listen to this conversation anymore.
Maybe you.
I tuned out. Like I said, couldn't you tell? I was tuned out. Like everybody on the block knew I was tuned out, man.
So, I have had, the last time I got recognized, I was on the bus right near my place.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I'm sitting there, and there's this lady who's like across, and she just does the, and she's like, Chris Gaskin? And I was like, yeah. And she's like, the fuck are you doing on a bus here? And I was like, well, I live here. And she's like, well, of course. And I was like, well, what other answer was I going to give?
That's funny.
I have a bag from Dollarama. What am I?
So you're bowling and shotgun.
I'm going to see my girlfriend. That's what I'm going to do. Like
bowling and shotgun.
Hot date night.
Good time.
No, I'm going home.
That's funny, man.
And then it was like 3 minutes of very awkward conversation. But I've had, I think, one of the best ones. I was on the SkyTrain heading home.
Yeah.
And these 3 women in like their early 20s.
Yeah.
Like the type who, we're all going to sit in the same seat together. That's only supposed to sit 2 people. But haha, aren't we cute? And I'm sitting there, and it's like the last train. So I'm like half asleep. Okay. Right? I've got like my headphones in, but I don't have anything playing because sometimes I just want to eavesdrop on conversations.
Yeah, ignore the world. Yeah.
Not ignore the world. I want to pay attention to the world, but I want it to look like I'm ignoring the world.
Like you're not paying attention.
I want to be like, someone's going to say something fucking wild, and I have to stop myself from going like. Yeah.
I've heard some really weird shit on school on buses in Vancouver. Yeah. And SkyTrain too. Yeah,
there was one time I was at Kingo Cafe, and someone was doing a bit about women just using phallic things as sex toys. And out loud, this girl behind me admitted to like, oh yeah, I fucked a carrot once. And I was like, how long do I have where I can finally turn my head and see what she looks like?
That's funny.
Like, I couldn't do it right away. What? Like, because then she would have been embarrassed.
Yeah, so you had to
she would have been like, I said that so loud.
Yeah, did you pretend to drop something so you could turn around?
Yeah, I gave it like 10 Mississippi. That's what I did. I was like 10 Mississippi, and the entire time I'm like, what does she look like? Does she?
That's funny.
And then eventually I was like, glasses, does not eat carrots.
That's hilarious.
Just uses them for pleasure.
Don't we all?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got a few baby carrots stuck in me somewhere, you know what I'm saying?
Depends on who your caregiver is, you know what I mean?
I get excited around vegetable plates, those party trays people get, yeah.
What happened to all the baby carrots? Where's Ryan? Ryan, come here.
Yeah.
Do that party trick.
Yeah.
All right, let me get Ryan on his hands and knees. All right, here we go. Ready?
It's like that game where you try and stick as many marshmallows in your mouth and you have to say something or whatever. I do that with carrots in my butt.
Watch me now say Pussy Willow. Watch.
I think one of the funniest moments of like being recognized as a comedian was probably I too was on the SkyTrain, or I just got off the SkyTrain and I was going to a show, but I was like at the SkyTrain station, like leaving the gate, and this cop yells out, "Hey, you're the guy that sent a dick picture to your grandma." And everybody, like, it's a busy time of day.
Yeah.
It was like around 5 o'clock or something, so everybody's like getting off and on the SkyTrain from work.
Oh, and the cops yelling that out?
And the cop yells
fucking
it to me.
Beautiful.
And I just pretended like I wasn't even
I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I just kept going, man.
Turbo mode.
Yeah.
That's great. So, anyways, I'm sitting there. There's these three young women.
I'm sorry.
Right? These three young
I got excited about vegetables in my butt.
Carrots, specifically.
Carrots.
Baby ones. So there's these three young women, and I've got my headphones in, but I'm not listening to anything.
Yep.
And I'm kind of like leaning down like this, and I look, and I could see them all looking over at me. Right? And I'm like... I'm sitting there like, do I got something on my face? Or like, why are they looking at me? And then I hear them start to talk. And one of the girls is like, no, that's him. And the other girl's like, that's not him. It's like, that's him. And I'm like, oh, I'm being recognized for my comedy. And she's like, no, that's the comedian. We saw him the other night. It's like, no, that's not him. No, that's the comedian, I swear. And then the third girl is like, if that was him, why the fuck would he be on the SkyTrain? And I started laughing immediately.
Because it's comedian comedy, that's why.
I don't know if you know, we don't get paid a lot.
We get paid tens of dollars.
When we're not famous, so...
Hell, I'm still doing shows where sometimes it'll be like, here's the comics... pitcher of beer, and I'm like, I don't even drink. I can't even take advantage of that. Yeah. You know?
The single pitcher of beer is always like the worst.
Or the half-eaten cold pizza that they throw down.
Sucking every one of like Johnny Paul's gigs.
Yeah. I'm actually...
I got a pizza. I love Johnny Paul. I'm
me too, man. Me too. Shout out to Johnny Paul and his shows and commercial. He's always been really good to me, and I'm really excited to do his Kill Tony spin-off show that he does or whatever.
Yeah, that's like a wild show. I did that a couple weeks back.
Yeah.
Just because I hadn't been on stage in a while, and I'd been having like a rough week, and I was like, I just need to get on stage, even if it doesn't go well, and it didn't go well. I fucking ate a fat dick. And
well, we all get that, like that, where we have moments where the only thing that'll make us happy is if we get on stage. Yep. As professional comedians. I did that after Maddie's funeral. I was like, I need to find a stage right now because I'm hurting, and the only thing that kind of fixes the hurt is to make other people laugh. Yeah. And I found I went and did Dave Kopp's comedy Bloodsport.
Oh, okay.
And completely crushed a bunch of comedians from Kelowna. Yep. But I told Dave going in, because I didn't recognize any of the comics on the thing, and I told Dave, I'm like, just pretend like you don't know me, and I just signed up for this. He's like, cool. And that's the way we did it. And it was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I was at, a couple nights ago, I was at Dion Arnold's memorial. Which I
How'd that go? Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it. And I'm bummed about it, but
I was incredibly hungover the next day.
hmm.
It was, it was, it's weird saying like, you went to a celebration of life. It was a good time. Like it was also
Yeah,
emotionally brutal. Like,
of course, but Dion and even Matt would want
oh
us to be like joyous and telling good stories and
yeah,
laughing and shit.
yeah,
So
and like so, Ryan Williams emceed it
okay,
and did like a wonderful job.
he's a great guy.
Yeah, and a very funny comedian,
Mm-hmm.
and like the way he was too, like at one point he goes, sorry, I forgot to add, I'm a bad host. Anybody celebrating anything?
Oh, that's hilarious. That's so
like,
good.
It was so funny.
That's so
Like
good.
he did great, and I know he's been, because they were pretty close.
Yeah.
So
and
it's like
hard.
Dion and I, it's bizarre to me because like we weren't close like that, but we were like comedy. If we're on a show, we're hanging out and we're talking.
Yeah.
But we weren't, let's go hang out outside of this type.
He was like that with me too.
But I mean, I'm not with that. I'm not like that with a lot of people. You know what I mean? Like I kind of have my separate home life. Like there's certain things I talk about when I'm on stage, but realistically I like my privacy as far as my home life goes. So I don't actually talk a lot about details with that. Just
it's
certain
fair.
little things here and there.
Yeah, we're allowed to separate our lives from what we do, just like anybody else does.
Of course. But like it really didn't hit me his passing, like specifically, until that, because that's the relationship that we had, that we
I
see each other just on the scene, and because we're both touring comics, like we'd see each other 3-4 times a year, not every week, not, you know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting you say that, because I had a friend that passed away a number of years ago now, that he was one of the funniest people I know. He would call me in the middle of the night and be like, "You're funny," and then hang up the phone. He was really good friends with Sonny Dollywall as well. His name's Greg Pukaki.
Yes.
Even with his funeral, or his celebration of life, I should say, it didn't hit me like that he was gone or how I felt until they started playing the Ghostbusters theme song, because he was a huge Ghostbusters fan.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, just the floodgates hit, and I looked over, like I was lucky enough to sit with his family, because I was really close with him, and I looked over at his brothers, and I had to put my sunglasses on, dude. I was one of those people.
Yeah.
You know, because I just, as soon as the music hit, I was in pieces.
Yeah.
But through all the speeches and everybody, I was okay. Like, I got emotional at the parts that made me emotional, obviously. But for the most part, I was pretty well collected.
Yeah.
Until
that's how I was.
Until that theme song hit, and then I was like, oh, Jesus, like, he's gone now, right? Like,
yeah.
You know, so now every time I watch Ghostbusters or hear Ray Parker sing the theme song, I feel like he's in the room, and I'm like, everything's gonna be okay. And the same thing with Matt Dillon when he passed. I've had moments where, I don't know if I've ever shared this with you, Chris, but one of the things that I do before really big shows is
jerk off.
No, I abstain from sex for a month. No,
unless you're sending her dick pics, and
yes, I'm not
calling back
Crystalia.
to earlier stuff.
That's a deep cut Crystalia joke.
Jesus Christ.
That's for true comedy fans. No,
So,
but
Maddie,
anyway, I have
before
this.
shows.
I have this tradition where Emma, my caregiver, will play Spoon Band by Soundgarden.
Yes.
Because Maddie was a big Guns N' Roses fan, but I couldn't stand them because I had people in my life that overplayed them to the point where I'm like, I can't stand them. So our
That's why I
common
don't
ground,
like 90s country music.
yeah, our common ground was always Soundgarden.
Mm-hmm.
So what we would do is we'd listen to Spoon Man all the way through, and then when the song was over, he would full on like slap me in the face as hard as he could, and he'd be like, "Showtime." So now, my caregiver Emma, whenever I have a big show or whatever,
Yeah.
only for the big ones, or if I'm really nervous before our show, she'll play it and then she'll just like full on cold cock me right in the head as hard as she could, and then we both laugh, and I'm like,
Yeah.
hey, Maddie, like I need you on this one,
Mm-hmm.
and then I seem to like get in the pocket and turn into the performer that I am, but yeah, it's funny that. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting all in my feels right now.
Yeah, when I was at Dion's celebration of life, like I was basically like quietly sobbing in the corner for like a good portion of it.
We all grieve in our own ways.
And because he's such just a lovable human being.
He was
that
great.
Like I had never seen him like so funny, but
he was
also
never
like
in a bad mood. He was always upbeat.
But that's the thing. I've seen him in bad moods. I've seen him, but it's always smile on the face. How are you doing? How are things?
Yeah.
And like there were times where it's like, how are things? He's like, dude, things are not great. And then like we talk about, but he'd always have like this positive attitude that I would like. Man, I'd love to aspire to be that.
Yeah, Maddie was like that too.
And he just this absolutely wonderful guy. And it hit because it was the type of thing where that hit me where I'm like, oh, I am never seeing this guy again.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's
the tough part, man.
That's the tough thing is like all of a sudden that hit me, and it's just like, and then like, man, seeing, he was so young, and that's a position where it's like, as a parent, that's not how things are supposed to go,
No,
and
we're all supposed to live to a ripe old age, and close our eyes and never wake up again.
I mean, it's also like we're all supposed to bury our parents, not the other way around. And I just felt like my heart breaks for them. And like the sweetest people too. Like it totally makes sense that like he was like that.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny enough. So they had like drinks were super cheap at this event. It was like $5 for a drink. Like a couple bucks if it's non-alcoholic, but then they had like Dion's favorite drink, which was like called a greenie or something like that, and is basically like a type of gin martini.
Okay.
Like it's like gin, but like sweet vermouth, so like the darker vermouth, and then there's something else in it, and I had a couple of those, and I'm sitting talking with his mom, and we're kind of like telling some stories and that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was telling his mom, like, we're comedy friends. Like, we didn't really hang out outside of it, but it was like, we'd see each other every few months, and that would be that. But like, you all right?
Yeah, I might need a drink, actually. We can edit that part out. Or no,
Nope.
we'll just keep
No,
going.
I'm keeping going.
We'll just make this
So-
the reality of our life.
So I'm talking with his mom, and then his mom's like, what are you drinking? And I go, oh, this is the one that's like your son's favorite drink. And she goes, how is it? And I'm like, oh, it's fucking terrible. Like, and she just starts laughing. She goes, yeah, no, that makes sense. That's Dion's favorite drink is awful. Like,
that's funny.
And then I ran into like a buddy of his was obviously there for that, right? That I was like, oh man, I was kind of bummed out that like, oh, I wish that guy was there. And then I was telling a story about how like, so I did Dion had like a show in Victoria, and I did that. And then after we went drinking with like his friend, and then I found out it's his friend's birthday that day. And I'm like, let me buy you a drink. Like, what are you drinking? And we're walking to the bar, and he goes, have you ever had Newfoundland Screech? And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? I was like, also, where would you get Newfoundland Screech? And he's like, this bar. I go, okay, so that's why we're here. And he's like, yeah, I work here. And I was like, why are you partying at a bar you work at? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Well,
this guy's one like an absolute sweetheart of a guy. So I was telling someone that story because they're like, oh, that's Dion's drink. What do you think? And I'm like, it's terrible. And I was like, oh, let me tell you about Dion's friend. Like, he also likes terrible booze. And then like literally 5 seconds after telling that story, I turn around and we both like eye and we're like, hey, holy shit. Like,
that's funny.
So like that was nice. There was like a lot of fun that I had there, and I did over indulge in alcohol.
Nice. Chris got shittered.
I'm not proud of it, but it wasn't that bad. But I was having a conversation with another comic, and we were talking. I mean, him and I are both wrestling fans, so we talked a little bit about the upcoming wrestling show, and that you and I just watched, and then unbelievable. Here we go with cat butthole on the show.
Yeah, kitty
Stay
butt
over here. It's fine. And then I was telling him that like he was like, how are you holding up? And I said like, I'm fine. A little raw and emotional tonight, but fine. I go in juxtaposed to Daryl's celebration of life, where all of that, when Daryl passed in his celebration of life, I was on antidepressants at the time for my anxiety, and I didn't feel anything.
Yeah, I've been there, man.
I hated it. I didn't feel anything. Yeah. And the one thing that happened at Daryl's is like there were people that treated it like it was a networking event.
Oh, that's
so
sad, dude.
And I'm not like 3 comics were like, hey, I got to get you on my show.
Yeah,
and by the 3rd comic, I was like, I'm just leaving. I can't be here because that's not why I'm here.
Yeah, we don't need to talk about that because that's awful that happened.
So I was telling this guy, like, I'm glad no one's, like, everyone's here for this. Yeah. And it seemed like there was some comedy talk where I was talking with a comic who is like, I've got a good half an hour. I'd like to record something. And there is, like, another half an hour that I'm playing with. And I was like, just rent out a room.
Yeah.
And do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't know. And he's like, well, how many people does it? And there was literally one of the people that worked at that venue was like lined up to get a drink. And I was like, hey, how many people does that room seat? And they're like 40, 50. And he's like, I can't do 40, 50. And I was like, you can absolutely do 40, 50. He's like, I'm only calling them out when I'm recording. I go, just say it's a preview of the show. Yeah. And like, I was like, because I have to do that for my stuff as well. And
I'll have to do that soon as well.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm talking with this other guy and I'm mentioning like, I'm glad this doesn't feel like a networking event because like that happened with
That's
my other
when,
buddies.
yeah, that's
Celebration of life.
not why you're there.
And
Yeah.
he literally said that he's like I didn't go to that because I only met Daryl once. He goes, and I didn't press for who said it, but he said another comic was like, you should go. There will be a lot of bookers there. And I was just like, ugh, like that's why I left that one.
Yeah, no, I get it.
And I was also, even though I was on antidepressants and like numb,
yeah,
I was not in a place to give a speech at Daryl's thing. A lot of people were shocked that I didn't give a speech. But also, like, I feel my speech would have split the room because I would have been honest about the type of guy that Daryl was.
Yeah.
But it's also like he was always so good to me. And I really miss that guy.
Me too.
And such a funny guy.
He was one of the only people that I let call me cripple on a regular basis. And he could get away with it, but he would never let me drop the N-bomb.
Yeah.
Not once. I mean, it's only fair. I should have just called him retarded, and he would have liked that. This is what you get when you do a podcast with me, Chris.
Yeah, I know.
Brutal honesty. I'm just being brutally honest.
We should wrap this up.
Okay.
Anyways.
I would like to talk more about how, I don't know, just how you want to be remembered when you're done this stand-up thing.
So, you know, that came up during one of the speeches at Dion's thing. And someone had mentioned that because at the end, like, he was in palliative care, you know, like, it was pretty clear.
It went really quick.
I mean, as far as, hey, I got cancer, it was less than a year. Like,
that's awful.
It's awful, but it's also, you know, that's kind of quick. I mean,
at least you didn't suffer too long.
Yeah, if I had something like that, I would hope it would be like Lemmy Kilmister, where like he found out he had brain cancer and had like basically 3 days.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. Found out 3 days later, done.
Wow.
He had brain cancer. And I mean, it's incredibly sad in that.
Yeah.
But someone
Can we end this podcast on a positive note?
Well, I was going to say, so someone had mentioned like how do you want to be remembered? And then Dion being Dion was like, well, how would let's go around the room. And it got back to him. And he's like, I just want people to remember me as someone who's nice.
That's amazing.
And he was like an incredibly nice guy.
He was. One of the most kind-hearted people I've known. Kind-hearted? That's not a word.
Yeah.
Kind-hearted people I've ever met.
I do think about, I've told people what I want done at my celebration of life, and it's like the biggest dick move.
What do you want done? Let's end it on this.
No, I'll tell you off.
Okay.
Off podcast.
Okay.
Because if it's something that happens, I don't want anyone to know about it until it happens.
That's fair.
But you know, I if I were to think about like how I'd like to be remembered, I would like to be remembered as someone who looked out for other people.
And you do that quite well.
I do think a lot of people misunderstand me because I like to bust balls and joke around. But I think when people get that that's who I am, it really changes their opinion of what they thought I was. Yeah. And it's like, I don't think I'm ever going to be, he was really nice to because of my ball busting, but like that's my love language is calling you a piece of shit. You know what I mean?
If you're not shitting on somebody, you don't love them.
Yeah.
I get it.
But but yeah, I would like to be remembered as like he was really good at what he did, and more importantly, like he was helpful and was like always rooting for people, because I really try to be that.
You are.
Even with the people that I don't care for what they do, or people that I don't even like, I still want them to do well, you know?
Yeah.
Because I'm a fan of comedy and I want people to
That's awesome.
have good shows. So
I just want to be known as somebody that like gave a shit and really loved to make people laugh and just loved what I did and put everything in my heart and soul on that stage. Because at the end of the day, I don't have a plan B.
yeah,
Comedy is all I got, so
yeah.
I just want to make the best of it. So yeah.
You know what? That's exactly what you are.
Thank you.
Yeah, I watch how hard you work, and
Thanks, man.
you're a killer, man. You're a killer. All right. We'll wrap it up. Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
All right, we'll be back next week. I guess upcoming dates. Ryan is both Ryan and I. South Rock Comedy Festival website.
SouthRockComedyFestival.com.
Go to RyanLaChance.com. My website's down at the moment. 5starcomedy.com. We'll have a link up to our show coming up at Yuck Yucks in October in Surrey. I believe the dates are the 18th and 19th.
Yes, they are.
Still, I don't think it's on their website yet, but those are the dates that we are doing, and we're doing the Rolling Thunder show there. So come check that out. Yuckyucks.com for more information. 5starcomedy.com for more information. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
For this week's show. So we'll see you next week.
Until next time.
Yeah. All right. I'm Chris.
I'm Ryan.
And goodbye.
Bye.